Welcome back, everybody. Yes, it's another species shout out. Today, we're going to cover shrimp, more specifically, cherry shrimp or Neocaridina. Hi. The little river that we had to walk over to get to this little idyllic spot, it's not too dissimilar from where you'd find Neocaridina in their natural habitat before they were sort of spread all over. Caridina. You notice I say Neocaridina species rather than Davidi, and that will be covered in a different video because I don't think you can call them Davidi. But cherry shrimp, the Neocaridina species that is available to you in your shops, that is the one where most people cut their teeth. And there's a reason for it. They're really, really hardy little things. They can tolerate almost any conditions you can throw at them, and I mean it. We've had them survive over winter here in the UK at -2 degrees. Yes, there's ice on the top, there's no oxygenation happening in the water, but they were fine. Now, on the flip side of that, we've also got a colony living with our zebra plecos, who are in 30 degrees Celsius water. We have them in KH 15 and KH 1 with the zebra plecos. We've got them in a pH of 7.8, and with the zebras, 6.0. So the colony in the zebra pleco tank is kind of breaking all of the internet rules. And while they can happily take it and they breed quite well, breeding initially wasn't as easy. So the first group of 10 or 15 went in there and they were acclimated, because drip acclimation is probably the most important thing when introducing any shrimp to a new environment. The longer, the better. And yes, I've said they're hardy, but honestly, if you can give them half an hour to an hour of acclimation, they're going to do so much better for you. So putting them in with the zebra plecos, the first lot went in, there were a few deaths, 2 or 3, I believe. And the survival rate of the first round of offspring was not great. But much like F2 generation guppies or F2 generation plecos, that F2 generation has been absolutely solid. In fact, they don't really need much at all. In the way of feeding, they are omnivores. They will take absolutely anything. Now, if you look at a lot of the big brand shrimp foods, they're just fish foods relabeled, which in the case of Neocaridina is not too bad. In the case of Caridina, not so great. And this comes down to protein content. So with Neocaridina, you can get away with a little bit more protein in their diet than you would say a Caridina or a Sulawesi. And this is because where they're found in their natural habitat, I mean, they are a long way removed from any wild type Neocaridina, granted. But this is because they're further down in the rivers. Now, at the top of the river where the Caridina are, and the panda loaches and that sort of stuff in the mountains of China, there's not a lot of protein there. A lot of food that is there is leaf litter. Bacteria that grows on it is a great source of food for shrimp. So yeah, you can feed your shrimp leaves. It'll take them a lot to get through it, so you don't need an entire leaf litter bottom to your tank. One leaf maybe every 2 to 3 weeks is probably all they'll need. Now, I wouldn't put a leaf in dry. Your best bet, I find, is put them in some water, leave them for 2 weeks before putting it into your tank. That 2-week period gives it a chance to gain some bacteria, and it gets a kind of slimy coating on it, and that's what your shrimp are going to enjoy. So with temperatures from 0 to 30, from KH from 1 to 15, there is really no environment other than salt that these guys won't do well in. They're almost a case of add water, will breed. Now, there are situations, water parameters, where they will breed better for you, but we haven't had any molting failures or anything with the zebra plecos. They do just live a little bit shorter. Now, with them being able to take a slightly higher protein content than the Caridina, maybe a bloodworm feeding or a brine shrimp feeding twice a week, once every 3 to 4 days, that'll do them a bit of good. But shrimp are boring, right? You don't want a bunch of shrimp in there. I promise you now, they are not boring. They do some of the most ridiculous things. You know your neighbor's dog that does stupid stuff that just makes you laugh? Yeah. When the hormones are flying around because the females are ready to breed, those males will tackle each other, I was gonna say mid-air, mid-tank, and they will drive each other into the ground. Full on swimmerette fights and claw fights, and just, trust me, they're not boring. So if you've been on the fence about starting with shrimp, get some cherry shrimp. I've told you they can survive in almost any condition. Just remember to drip acclimate as slowly as possible and for as long as possible, and you shouldn't encounter any problems. Feed them a good diet. Dr. Basilia shrimp pellets is one of my favorite. Our shrimp food is still in production, but it's on the way. It's going to be aimed at Neocaridina specifically, although Amano shrimp, they can also deal with a slightly higher protein than Caridina. Now, going hand in hand with the patience it takes to drip acclimate your shrimp to their new environment is a seasoned environment. Putting any shrimp into a non-established environment is almost a death sentence. The tank needs time to create a bacteria colony and just some biodiversity, however microscopic it is. So if you're thinking about setting up a shrimp-only tank, you really do need to be patient. Take your time, find the shrimp you really like, and go from there.